So I gotta ask, who's had a better career, Kyrie Irving or Steve Nash? If you were to retire 'em right now, whose career would you want? Their numbers are fairly almost comparable, you know. Um, both great ball handlers, though I think Kyrie's about a tier or two ahead of him, but as far as when I look at the overall trajectory, because Kyrie's gonna obviously score more points, but assists, you're gonna have a few more rebounds, but Nash, they fairly close in the postseason. It's surprising when you do a head to head. I was like asking about them and who did I think had a better career? Because if I had said, well, what would you rather have, the two MVPs or would you want Kyrie's resume? Well, they're both compelling resumes. They're not that dissimilar. It's not like it's a cakewalk for either one of them. Because come to find out, when you do your research and look them up, they stack up pretty close to each other in certain areas. Kyrie's more of a flashier scorer and give you more, but it's not like he was running. He's a bit obviously a more prolific scorer, but then when we get to the other aspects, it's fairly close. Rebound. Now Kyrie's a better defensive player with block shots and steals, but when I get to assists and rebounds, it's not that far off. Postseason scoring, not that far off. So asking me who would I take, that's pretty interesting. Who did I think was more of a leader of the two? I think Nash was more of a leader of the two, but I think Kyrie's the more talented of the two. Like he can create his offensive game. He's underrated on his defense. So I think in that regards, but it's not something that you sit up there and you aren't like, because you got to think about it for a moment. I mean, it's pretty compelling. Uh, when I was up there thinking about both of them, it's like that's not. Sometimes when you see two people being debated, you think, oh, it's going to be a blowout because of perception. Nash's second half of his career, had that Nash that went to Phoenix under D'Antoni system through the trajectory of his career, this could be even closer. This could even actually, Nash might crack closer into the higher echelons of the 6 through 10 slot. That's where as high as I can go. I can't, obviously, you ain't Steph, you ain't Magic, you ain't Oscar Robinson, you ain't Isaiah Thomas, you're not John Stockton. Those guys are off limits. And then we get to Jason Kidd. So then you're working in that 6 through 10 room. So, they both had their pros, they both had their cons. It's pluses and minuses with both of them. Um, Kyrie's one of those guys, he can go off like a firecracker, but Nash can beat you all the way around. Remember 50, 40, 90. And you're styling, So it's interesting where you come down with both of them. I think it's a good debate. I don't have a problem with it as a debate. I think it's a very fair debate. It's one of those situations where you kind of like look at it and you're thinking, wow, that's pretty interesting. I didn't really think of them like in that capacity, but they are not that dissimilar. It's interesting thoughts and takes with that. So I think I'll have to, when I'm revisiting looking at that, I think I'll pretty much, allude to that. But anyway, who would you take? You got Kyrie Irving, you got Steve Nash. And the thing about it is, when was Kyrie in his peak, in his prime? Because you can say he played wildly with Cleveland before LeBron, after LeBron got there, and he played great ball in Dallas. The Boston years we don't really talk about, and the Brooklyn years we almost forget about. So it's interesting where you come down. But let me know what you think. Kyrie Irving, Steve Nash, who you got is the better point guard for a career? If all things would end right now, please hit like, subscribe, work on thoughts, comments. And I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. And share it if you like and hit that membership because when you do, requests like this come true. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm out. Peace.